And we're back with our question and answer session, or as I like to call the After Dark section. This is going to be a longer one because we're going to take some questions, but I didn't want to talk about the ship live broadcast that they did, the ship talk during the IAE, because I feel like it's part of IAE, but it's sort of a separate thing. It's generated a lot of hype, as they tend to, but I wanted to talk just in general about it. So let's just start off with the first one. What was your thoughts on that? Your just general things that popped out to you in that whole thing. Start with you there, Bob. Bobs.
Things that jumped out. Well, first of all, to me, one of the most exciting things is the night vision sort of thing they mentioned, or the canopy, whatever it was, the canopy lighting system that it
the lamp. The lamp system.
The lamp. Yeah,
yes.
That one, the lamp system. So yeah, I'm stupidly excited for that one because it's been so long, man. Can we just get night vision? It's ridiculous that we don't have it yet. Then other things that jumped out. Well, I mean, a lot of new ships, I guess, and of course the battlecruiser.
Yeah, the battlecruiser. Yeah. Axis, things, just what jumped out to you when you were watching it?
A lot of interesting tidbits jumped out. The rare mention of the other alien species nobody talks about.
I mean, I have an entire video on them in the actual story.
You have the most comprehensive video on the Kurthak anyone's done.
That's because that's all the information that exists. A lot of it is supposition too. So,
and they mentioned some interesting stuff regarding the Kurthak that I thought was interesting. Maybe Asperia might produce Kurthak ships.
That would be wild. No, I don't think that meant, because a lot of people were joking and memeing, being like, Kurthak and ships in 2026. It's like, no, because the question...
Not in 2026. It's maybe after a massive event.
Maybe.
Like some sort of Xi'an UE war. If you want me to crystal ball it.
Go for it. Let's hear your prediction.
There might be a second UEE Cold War, or it may become a hot war between the Xi'an and the human empire. We don't know. Some idiot might actually make contact with the Kurthak. We don't know. And that would kickstart things real quick.
So for the Kurthak suggestion, for those who don't know who the Kurthak are, if you don't want to go watch a 30-minute video or 20-minute video on them, the basic gist is that they are the ancient enemy of the Xi'an. They're on the other side of Xi'an space. And the Xi'an are terrified of them. And so we've tried to make contact with them in the past, and it was the attempt was cut short and nearly started a hot war between us and the Xi'an. It's where the first real lore mentions of the Division of Executive Services shows up. Because they were the division was the ones who tried to get in contact with the Kurthak and screwed up. We don't know, are those the cat-like creatures? We don't know what they are. The thing we have to understand is that it was, the only mention of it has ever been, it's been in lore. It's been mentioned in lore, because they were mentioned as assassinating the Xi'an royal family. But before that, the first mention of it was Eric Peterson, Wingman, who was the original lead on the verse. So he had Todd Pappy's job before Todd Pappy came in. And so effectively they've been sort of this mystery race out in the deep space that we don't have contact with, that exist in the lore, which possibly means a story coming down the line at some point about them. So it's wild that they mentioned them, because the context of that question was effectively, are you going to stop making ships? When is enough ships? And basically the entire ship team was like, we want our jobs, so never. When you stop paying for them was basically the answer. And their more further answer was, we don't even have a single ship for every profession. Like, we don't have a small, medium, large capital for every profession, let alone multiple versions in each profession. Like, they
Yeah, for like every manufacturer and such.
yeah. So, like, for instance, think about it, light fighters in Star Citizen right now. How many light fighters do we have? Like 7 or 8, if not more. And
Yep.
and like all of them from different manufacturers, and some of them are, I think, light fighters from the same manufacturer. So imagine that, but for starter mining ships. They want to have that level. So we already have 200 ships plus which includes variants in game. You're probably talking about 1,000 plus ships when the game is closer to like 3.0 or 2.0 or whatever. So that was an interesting like, I knew that was the case, but it's clear that that's the first official statement that CIG says, is basically saying they're never going to stop selling ships. We knew that. We all know that. It's an unwritten rule. Despite what CIG said, that they will eventually stop selling ships, they're still going to make ships, which means they're going to still sell them because that's how they make money. So
Right. I also still, about the Carfac, I also have my own theories, of course.
Go ahead.
I feel like it's such an, especially with how the Vanduul are acting, they are pushing into human space, obviously. They are very much a species that eats stuff. Like, they basically, just absolutely plunder entire planets and probably don't think much about sustainability and such. But especially with the Vanduul also having the respawn technology, and then in lore it's sort of being mentioned or alluded to that it's kind of weird that they have this technology,
Yeah.
because it's extremely high tech. And then the Xi'an being more high tech than human and still being scared of Carfac makes me think that Xi'an might actually have stolen regen technology from the Carfac, and then the Carfac might actually be pushing the Xi'an, or sorry, the Vanduul
Vanduul.
towards us.
Yeah.
Like, as in they are maybe pushing the Vanduul out of the systems that they were in, and thus causing the Vanduul to push humans because they're basically on the run for a species that is just basically more superior.
Yeah. No,
That is a
At least
good theory.
that is a theory that's been around for a while because
Yeah.
Aaron, someone asked point blank, Aaron, in like 2014, 2015, why are the Vanduul moving into human space? And Aaron said, well, why would they? And someone said, are
Right.
they being pushed? And he just smiled and said, maybe. So, like,
Right.
it's clear that the story of the Vanduul being pushed into human space is inspired by the actual Vandals in history, which is the Vandals and the Goths were steppe people that lived in like modern day Ukraine, Azerbaijan, around the Black Sea. And when the Huns, which are the descendants of the Xiongnu, I think is what they were pushed out because of the Great Wall being built by the Han, and they pushed that sort of those cultures away because they couldn't raid into China anymore very easily. They went towards the west, and over generations they pushed out the people in front of them, which then pushed those people into the other people, and eventually we have like the Vandals and the Goths, who then pushed into Rome, Eastern Rome. The Goths and the Visigoths were near Germania. Yeah, but I know the Vandals were a steppe
Culture.
steppe culture. Yeah. Which means like Ukrainish. So they probably pushed the Goths, who then also, and then all of them got pushed into there. So the idea is that they were being moved in historically, and we know that Star Citizen is heavily based off of the fall of the Roman Empire. It's not the fall of the Roman Empire in space. It is based on it as the starting point. So if they're using that as the starting point, something's moving the Vandals. The Vandal is being moved. The Vandals are being moved into QEE space by something, and that would be the Xiongnu, who are the enemy of the Chinese, and the Xi'an are heavily inspired by the Persians and the Chinese. So
Right.
the Carthak is the logical answer. So
1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
But of course,
Makes you
we'll have to
wonder
see if
how
that's the case.
powerful they are.
well, yeah, I mean, we know that they probably stole regen technology from the Carthak, the Vanduul did. So they would be, and again, the Xi'an are terrified of them. So they'd be very powerful.
And we are terrified of the Xi'an because, in general, their actual technology is quite superior to human technology.
Yeah.
What would be hilarious is if the Kurthak encounter us, and yet they're not hostile to us. They're only hostile to their mortal enemy because we didn't steal anything from them technically.
Yeah.
We stole things from their desecrated foes, and we're like, "Do you want this back?" And they're like, "No, it's inferior to our version."
Knowing how CIG writes, they would be very mad at us. They would attack us because it's also the Huns attacked Rome, so it would be, and I think it would be a good old fashioned team up where we actually get to see the Xi'an and humanity working together to fight the Krithok.
And then the Banu is like Qatar nowadays, where we go to just like mediate peace, whatever.
Yeah.
Whilst they make money off both of us.
It would be hilarious if you're insurgents within their own groups. That would be funny.
We start fighting along the Vandal.
Yeah, that's the saying.
them.
It would be like the Vandal and humans team up against the Krithok with
That would be funny.
yeah,
And the Xi'an.
and the Xi'an type doing it. That would be an interesting event, and I think it's the way CIG writes and that sort of like very fantasy, not fantasy, but like adventure, sort of like bombastic storytelling. That would be something they'd do, because it also, again, rule of cool. You show up to something like a tactical strike group against the Krithok, and what's waiting for you is like a Vandal destroyer and a Xi'an cruiser working together to fight the Krithok, and you're showing up to help out, like, you know, to clear the way for a Bengal to show up, and now you have these three species all fighting together against one united enemy. So, yeah. I'll also say the thing that stood out to me was the Aurora Mark II, because despite popular belief, CIG has only done 2 Mark IIs, and one of those Mark IIs wasn't really a Mark II because it was just putting the Zeus in game.
Yeah,
it was called the Mark II for lore reasons, but it's not actually a Mark II.
Well, I still think that even the Zeus Mark II name is kind of weird, because then in lore you also have the Zeus Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and Mark 4.
Yeah.
And then now we have a new Mark II, so it actually that entire ship doesn't make sense. The ship
No.
naming for the Zeus Mark II, I think, but
Yeah, but I mean, they should have called it the Zeus Mark 5 or whatever, but you know,
yeah,
or just the
right.
Zeus, you know, as like kind of
yeah,
reboot.
or Zeus 2.0, some different name. 2.0 sounds stupid, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, because like people have talked about, well, we're going to get a Constellation Mark II. It's like we're on Constellation Mark 5. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so it would be the Constellation Mark 6, which I think would be. I know CIG might say, well, that's confusing people, and it's like there are different versions of Elite Dangerous ships, and there are people who are playing Elite Dangerous who never played the original Elite, so they don't know like the what the original ASP was, or I forget which one it was. There's one of those ships.
The
that's like
Crate Phantom you have, I think.
the
The
Phantom.
Crate has a Mark II.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of them, I think, that have interesting names.
I think the
But
Eagle
even for the
is like a Mark
Perseus-
2 or 3. So
Oh
like,
yeah, maybe.
Cobras. Yeah.
And then also the Perseus is just called the Perseus,
Yes.
even though it's technically a redesign of the
Of the
original
Perseus.
Perseus that was already probably a Mark II Mark.
Yeah.
It was already. This is probably like maybe even a like 50th version of the Perseus, so it doesn't.
It doesn't make a
Yeah,
lot of
I don't
sense. But I do like the idea
Yeah.
of the Aurora Mark II only because it sort of shows that CIG is not only going to work on the original, but they're more likely at this point, because of how busted ships are, to just redo it. So like I feel like
I
we're gonna
agree.
almost at this point we're gonna get a Constellation 2 Mark II or a 2.0 version of the Constellation.
Freelancer maybe
The
as well.
Freelancer as well, and maybe even
Cutlass
the
most likely.
Cutlass. You know,
Yeah, there's no space for components in the Cutlass. The walls are too thin.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big issue for them. I'm guessing.
they can do it. They could probably figure it out, but like they're gonna
maybe.
have, because they're still gonna have to gold standard those. They're still gonna have to support them.
Right.
So,
Also with the Aurora Mark II, I feel like they're probably just going to make the Mark II the new like game package instead of the
Oh, yeah.
Mark One, and then the Mark One is just going to be you can still get it, of course, but it's maybe not even going to be available in the store anymore. Just
No.
like the
Hornet.
Anvil Mark One,
Yeah, the
the
Hornet.
Hornet.
Mark I.
Yeah, that's also away from the store now, which I think is actually a pretty decent thing, because then you have these like cool. It's kind of like old timers. People have old timers. They still function, but are pretty bad. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of a fun thing.
What are y'all's thoughts? Just kind of freeform on this one. Your thoughts on the reduction of the cargo for the D&E?
Ooh.
And then knew it would happen.
Yeah, I feel like everyone kind of knew it would happen because it was ridiculous. I
Mhm.
do think it's a little, maybe a bit it feels a little extreme in a certain way because it is a massive reduction. I do get once again that it would take stupidly long with the 32 SCU containers. But it's also like the hull D compared to the hull C is now like I think a 1.4 increase in cargo capacity, which is a smaller jump than the jumps before it. And sure, it's still pretty high up, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels a bit. I guess we'll just have to see how it really works out in the economy, because I do hope that the whole D can still really fulfill that, and the whole D and E can still fulfill that role of being this massive, freighter that is actually able to earn good money by doing so, instead of only being marginally better than this whole C.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
we're talking like the whole E is over 2 times the amount of cargo from the whole
Right.
whole D, and the whole D is almost twice as much as the whole C. So like we're still talking about a significant
of course.
increase in cargo. I always thought like everyone thought it was ridiculous. Those sizes were ridiculous, and the fact that CIG stuck to it for so long shows that they really try to make it work, and they just were just like finally gave up and were like, we fucked up. We got to change this.
Yeah. What happened with my frame rate? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, look, a whole E. Yeah.
Server crashed because the whole E jumped in. It's like, dude.
Gosh, there's so much other things. They talked about the
Anvil Auxilia, the ground
Oh, yeah.
vehicle.
the
The
Auxilia.
two new the silhouettes we missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the silhouettes. Yeah.
The Auxilia
There's
and
three.
the MFC. They called it something else, but I think they called it again. It's the MXS
The Forge.
or the MXC. The Forge. Yeah. There's the Forge,
That's the
which is
third one, yeah.
the Consolidated Outland.
Baby Pioneer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
baby
basically
pioneer.
the little brother of the Pioneer. I think they're going to put out the Forge Theory Craft. They're going to put out the Forge before the Pioneer because it has the same absorption legs,
Yep.
that Pioneer does. So it's a test bed for the Pioneer.
Yeah.
I think so too. Just like, for example, with the Genesis and the E1, and then the E1 is probably going to release before the Genesis, even though the Genesis is a way older concept.
I think it's even better. We're gonna get another Crusader, medium or small people carrier. Because
we
what-
were?
I think
Oh,
we-
the E1, you mean? Or?
no, I think we're gonna get because the E1 isn't a luxury variant. So
True. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get because the Genesis is less luxury and more commercial, just commercial passenger transport. I think we'll
Yeah.
get either a Spirit, which is a version of that, or another ship that is just a people transport. That's like
If
a
we do
smaller
get one of
medium.
those, I really hope it fits in the 890 jump hangar.
Mm.
So you can like transfer people into the 890. That'd be great. But yeah, I
Yeah.
do think we'll get one of those, similar to the shuttles in Orison, but then quantum capable.
I think that this should make sense because they that's how they build ships now. Is they build smaller ships and have these kits, and then use those kits to build bigger ships, and then eventually build to the larger stuff. So, but it's funny that all of those silhouettes were crafting.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah, I
them
mean,
are
it didn't
crafting.
surprise me. I
That
feel like
means it's on the near mid horizon.
It's 26.
maybe?
It's their plans in 2026. It's like with how CIG is just throwing engineering at us. Next patch, they're gonna throw it crafting at us in like February. You know.
I
They're
think
gonna have
February
an
is too early
Evo
though. But
probably
yeah,
first batch.
What
What
was
do
that?
you
I
think?
think-
Golden play.
I think I think it's going to be a bit later, the crafting and stuff, especially with engineering. It's probably going to have a pretty big ripple effect on how gameplay works, and I think they might take some time to, balance some things out. I do think we might actually get the first sort of like implementation of crafting somewhere mid next year, like around
Invictus.
around Invictus, and then proper crafting towards the end. But I still think base building, for example, is far away. The fact
Mhm.
that they even mentioned base building as in like this year, last year CitizenCon, was just insane to
Is-
me.
Premature. I think the reason why was because 2026 is what they originally planned 2025 to be. So
Right.
that and their idea was they were going to come right out the gate with engineering at the very beginning of the year, and then when they saw how unstable things were, they were like, we're going to take a little bit more time to get this out. So, but they haven't released a ground fabricator. They will. They'll release two. The MFC and the Auxilia are both ground fabricators. So,
Yeah, but not base building fabricators. I don't know if that's what they meant, but
well, the base building is the CSV.
yeah,
That
it's
they already
usually-
have. They already
yeah,
have the like cargo version of it.
the platform.
Yeah.
True.
So it's interesting that the Auxilia was originally supposed to be a base builder because they showed it off as a base builder, which tells me that base building and manufacturing were the same thing. Originally, when they were doing it, base building and manufacturing was the exact same thing. The crafting and base building were the same thing, and then they split them off during the development process because they realized they wanted it to be two separate game loops. And so that's why we know the Galaxy was originally supposed to have a manufacturing module because they talked about that when they sold it originally, and and then it was showed up on the screen for the base building thing because again I think that the game designers said manufacturing and crafting and base building are the same thing. And then somewhere along the lines, they decided to split them, and that's why John Crew was like, "What are you talking about? We never said a
Right.
gameplay, so we never said that." So yeah,
Notice the auxiliary also seems to be a very multi-purpose, even more so than the Clipper.
yeah, because it has a refinery.
tier
on it.
2 med bed,
Yeah.
and it has a full refinery in it.
Yeah,
So it's almost like a crossbreed between the Clipper and the Expanse, which is
Mhm.
possibly also coming 2026.
it's sort of you buy it for along with a CSV, so you have that in a CSV, so you can start your own little cabin in the woods, sort of thing. It's
So
sort of
the Auxilia was
Yes.
still getting refining.
yeah.
Oh wow.
I think it's supposed to get it.
Very tiny.
I think it's supposed to have a refinery. It's supposed to have a refinery because like the Forge is supposed to have a refinery, and
Yeah.
and a crafting. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it has a
And
medical bed because I know the
We don't
Auxilia
know yet. But it probably will.
the Auxilia is having a size 2 medical bed, which is big.
Yeah, which is just insanity.
It's like
Yeah.
a micro Carrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was
People are gonna
crafting in a
be
med
buying
bed.
that.
We might be wrong on that one because I might be confusing the Forge with the Auxilia.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about the refinery for the Auxilia. I thought it was just
The Forge.
crafting a medbed, and you still need like the Forge or ships like the Forge for the actual extraction and refining.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chap might be right there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Forge has the refinery.
Yes, but it doesn't have a med bed. But it's still
Not
like
as far as we know, at least.
yeah, it's still important because of course the existence of the Auxilia implies there will be a mobile refinery ship vehicle. That's going to happen. There'll be
Yeah,
a
So
probably.
is this the
An
old
extraction.
silhouette from the base building thing, or no?
yeah, it's
The auxiliary.
the Auxilia is the Atlas chassis.
The anvil, like the Spartan and the ballista, the same.
Yeah.
So it's been refined since we saw it at CitizenCon 2023.
Oh yeah,
2024, right?
Was it 2023 or
2024.
2024. It was 2024.
2024, yeah.
2024.
We first saw it in 2023 because we saw it in white box concept on the list of ships that were base builders. They never
and it
called
had
it
a
anything.
trailer behind it.
Yeah, it had the trailer, and
Oh, right.
yeah, and then they actually showed off the silhouette for it last year. So
No trailer.
And then we also have the armor coming in with the
Yeah,
patch
with
next
with
patch, which
engineering.
is also. I'm really curious as to what this implementation is going to be like. I'm guessing it's probably just going to be statistics for balancing before they do the full Maelstrom thing.
Mhm.
But we'll have to see how CIG does the armor thing.
It's probably a cross between what we currently have in terms of health pools, but instead of having health pools for the ship, the health pool is just for the hull. So
Right.
and then they add armor variants variables to the hull. So
Yeah,
so because that's
it's like a separate
it's
thing on your screen as well.
yeah, they've separated it to
Yeah.
from what it was because right now it's for those who don't know we have health pools where your ship has a certain amount of health and if certain things go to zero then they either break off or they blow up the ship. And with engineering,
Or they're invulnerable.
Hmm?
Certain parts are invulnerable, like the nose of the 890 jump.
Yeah.
You cannot kill the 890 even though you damage it infinitely.
But with engineering, the only way to blow up a ship is to make the power plant go critical. So you have to critical the power plant to get it done. So you have to know where the power plant is and then like focus on it. But you can't knock out a ship because you either knock out the power plant or knock out its components, so it just stops drifting, starts drifting. So.
Yep.
Um,
And then also the IC, fortunately, next week will probably give us a lot more information about this stuff specifically and the actual patch releasing. The whole B?
Someone's asking 2026. What? That's you just popped in first time and say 2026. I don't get the reference though. We're asking for if we're getting base building 2026. No. Crafting.
I don't think so.
We
Yeah.
might see an Evo at the very end, but I doubt we'll have it at full release. No.
Yeah.
Same.
The whole B you're saying.
Yeah, the whole B, I also think is an interesting change. It's getting more cargo, which kind of surprised me. I guess it sort of makes
Going
sense
to
if you compare it
this?
to like the raft and stuff, and then it changes to the X, yeah, like Axis just did.
Did they say they were going to do the X? Because that was the original design.
They said it's going to land like this.
Oh.
Yep, the
X
cargo is going to be
configuration.
diagonal now. So that's interesting for sure. I think it will look pretty cool, to be honest. Maybe even cooler than the other hull ships if they stay with the vertical sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird to load, though.
Yeah, it's kind of
that is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're loading in space mostly, I mean, of course, sometimes on the ground, probably, but if you're loading in space mostly, it's probably going to be fine with the external elevators.
I think the B has its own tractor beam too. So.
Oh, right, that would make sense.
It's also got a turret on it.
Yeah. So like, it's the multi crew compared to it's like a cross between a C and an A. It's that hybrid. So.
Right.
So it's about the size of a freelancer, I think, right?
Probably completely collapsed is probably the size of a freelancer. Expanded is probably bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was a big one. I would say just generally watch it if you haven't already. It's 2 hours, but it's worth it to sit down and watch it because there's a lot of good information in it.
Yeah.
If you're on a commute or something in public transit, whatever, just
The
take and watch.
ironclad changes were also big changes as well.
More cargo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel
Could
like the
be an
ironclad's
implication for the size too of the ship.
Oh, it's gonna get bigger. It's gonna get bigger.
They said it's probably going to be a little bigger, but they said it was mostly because of how if you look at the concept, you can see how they have the walk around sort of like, I don't know the English word, unfortunately, since I'm not native.
It's
the bridge.
The walk around they're called the catwalks.
The catwalks, right. They have the catwalks and they have a bunch of ladders. That's actually, I think there's like 6 of them. There's a large amount of them on the original concept art. And he said they're just moving them up to the sides, and thus you have way less paths because they were not just the ladders. They were keeping entire like pretty large walking paths in between the cargo grid for those ladders, so you could always reach them even if the ship was fully loaded. But it just didn't make much sense, I guess, in their opinion. So they changed that. So I don't even think it's going to get that much bigger. But it, the more cargo probably does mean a price increase.
Yeah. 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 Let's get to the questions. That was a good 20 minutes of discussions, but I just generally think it's
the best with cruisers.
Yeah. The battle cruiser we talked about. We talked about it because we talked about it afterwards. How do you think they're going to sell the battle cruiser?
I mean, it's going to be hull limited.
Think it's hull limited?
Depending on the manufacturer, it might be in a package. Maybe.
I mean, I'm starting to think that they're going to sell the battle cruiser as a blueprint.
As a blueprint?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Because
that would be crazy.
So that way it would force you could still get access to it, so you skip some gameplay, but you don't have access to a battle cruiser just from the gate. So you have to craft it.
I'm afraid you just gave him a really bad idea, Paul. This is like the best version of selling JPEGs ever. We're literally selling you a little like blue picture, blue picture of a ship for like $1,500.
Yeah, but I mean,
Javelin is $3K.
Yeah, so you'd have to spend, because that's the other problem is that if you're going to sell an actual working battle cruiser, it's going to be $10,000.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it's insane, and that's I think that's worse in terms of marketing and gameplay balance than it is to give someone a blue picture for $1,500.
To me, it's just a bit confusing because of course we do have the cruisers, which are, for the people who don't know, basically Bengals with massive guns on them.
Yeah.
So without the hangar, basically, well,
Mhm.
probably still has a small one, but that we don't know. The battle cruiser is probably larger.
Yeah.
It would sort of make sense, but it could. We don't really know. I don't think if they're
We
intending
don't
to
know
make
if
it
we're
a larger
getting
ship.
both or one or the other, honestly.
Yeah.
The reason
It-
why I say this is on the original Kickstarter, it said cruiser and battle cruiser. So
Yeah,
the
two
cruiser
separate ships.
could still be an outright release. Who knows?
Yeah. Because
They're being very quiet.
it is in Squadron, and there's also a uh, Pegasus carriers on watch because or Pegasus fans on watch because there's also a sort of like a they talked about an escort carrier. Originally, that was going to be the Pegasus.
Yeah, there is.
But there is a escort carrier which basically looks like the bottom half of a Bengal. That's just the carrier, just
Argus class.
the Argus class. Yeah. So
Looks a little strange. Yeah, like a shortened bottom half of
Yeah,
the
I'd
Bengal
be
with
fine
only
with
the
that.
bottom engines.
Yeah.
It looks a little strange, but yeah.
and then the I've been calling it the what is it called? Because they actually talked about it in lore, which is how we know it's a cruiser.
Liberty class.
No, it's not Liberty class. It was
Corvus.
Integrity. It was Integrity. The UES
Integrity. Yeah. okay, the
Integrity, there it is.
Yeah, because the Integrity is at the Battle of Vega, and they talk about it in
Yeah.
one of the lore things that they say that that Integrity and Honor was the name of it, which is sort of propaganda film where they followed along
Yeah.
the patrol of the Integrity along the Vandal front, and they specifically in that just lore post they just designated it as a cruiser, and then it shows up in the Battle of Vega, so you're like, that's a cruiser. That's the
That's a cruiser.
So
Yep.
those are in the cutscene they incorrectly just said it was the Argus that got hit.
Oh
Even
yeah,
though
there was the mistake in
it was
the
the mistake in the
cutscene, the
cutscene.
audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do still think I don't know. It might be bigger, but in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if the battle cruiser is actually a sort of more compact, very battle focused version of the cruiser, so actually smaller.
Okay.
Because I feel like CIG may have, I feel like they have become a little more realistic to a certain extent over the years, and they know that what we can see with the cruiser or with the Bengal carrier and with the cruiser that we just mentioned and the escort carrier, they are all the same, basically the same chassis, which means that a lot of interior stuff will transfer over, a lot of weapons will transfer over. It is basically the same ship with the same assets, but just arranged differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it would really surprise me if CIG decides to make an even larger ship that is fully, focused on combat. It would just surprise me. I think it's going to be more like someone just mentioned in chat, sort of like a Kraken size, maybe a bit larger, like around maybe 500 meters, 800 meters, somewhere there.
Yeah.
Very, very much combat focused. Yeah, more along those lines, and hopefully Anvil, but we'll have to see if it's going to be Anvil, Aegis, or RSI. Probably
Remember,
one of
we
those
only
three.
have one destroyer class
Yeah, that's
ship
true.
of any sort. I could
Mhm.
see a Anvil answer to the Javelin. Dare I say it?
I see some people saying the comparable in size with the Kraken. The Kraken is tiny. The Kraken is the size of an Idris. The battle cruiser would have to be bigger than
This is a little smaller, yeah.
than a
Javelin
javelin.
size or go home.
Yeah, it's a minimum javelin, if not bigger. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Who
all
else
right.
could use you, Paul, for other military ships to test your brain?
I don't know.
For the full theory crafting about all the manufacturers releasing next year, that's probably more for the next
Yeah,
episode.
the next
of Captain's Table.
episode.
Yeah, that you're gonna do
Yeah,
about
let's drop
this
that.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Let's
Because we're gonna be theory crafting for hours, guys.
Yes.
If we start to theory craft
Yeah.
about Gatak and
Well-
Kruger and Origin.
Luckily, we don't have a ton of questions, so it should be fine. The first question comes from Devil Dit, who says, "Theory question: would the addition of PDCs onto the Hammerhead break a lot of things?"
Break it, as in?
I mean, I think the Hammerhead doesn't need PDCs because it sort of prevents it from its original role. Like, if you're going to use PDCs in the Hammerhead, why do you need the gunners? Just replace
Yeah.
the gunners with PDCs. And that sort of makes the ship a PDC ship rather than being a gunship.
I feel like the entire Hammerhead platform is one big,
PDC.
shark with PDCs,
Yeah.
but then they're manned and way more powerful.
Yeah, and so I don't think you need to add PDCs onto it. I think a lot of people want to add PDCs because they think it's vulnerable to light fighters, which is just a design issue from CIG, not a.
That's just the game right now.
Yeah, it's the
gonna
game.
be strong
It's
at some point in the next few years.
yeah.
With engineering, it's already becoming a lot stronger, and especially if they do actually implement the limited limited range on the weapons, because they want to limit the range a lot more. If you're interested in that, though, I do recommend the video from Avenger 1.
Yeah.
Because he talks about it in a lot of detail.
Yes, actually, I'm gonna try to bring A1 and Bops on to talk about the problems with the current flight models and combat, because both of them do a lot of combat, and it'd be good to hear them to talk about like what works and what doesn't work and what needs to change. So, I am a PDC. I am Spartacus. All right, next question comes from Shimpasta, who asks, do you feel CIG will celebrate getting $1 billion? And if so, how? No. CIG is not going to do that.
I mean, maybe Chris will take an extra vacation on his little yacht, but that's probably about it.
Probably.
Just an image of him in a pile of cocaine.
Yeah.
Stop.
Thanks for your money, suckers.
Oh, no. I mean, technically, aren't they with the private investments?
Yes.
If we include the private investments, they're basically there, no?
Yeah, but effectively. I think they're close to it.
Very close to it, yeah. To $1 billion. Which sounds crazy, but still, we do have to remember that even, many, many games in the industry have revenues yearly of over $1 billion.
Yeah. It's $1 billion over 13 years, which, if you separate it out, is still not bad. It's still close to like.
It's a lot of money, sure.
It's like close. It's under $100,000, $100 million a year, which is for a company the size of CIG is not that much,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll do it just because they've stopped doing celebrations on the money raised before they reached 100 million.
I think it's fair.
I do think that they'll do. They probably don't even acknowledge it. What they'll probably do though is because we're probably not going to reach crowd-funded $100 billion until next year, and it'll probably be middle of next year based off of the trends that they're doing. So if it's middle of next year, by then they'll probably have crafting. So it'll be probably more along the lines of Chris sitting down and talking about, hey, this is where we are when we started it. As a letter from chairman, this is where we started, this is where we're going, and this is what we've done so far, and this is where we're going to go in the next couple of months, kind of thing. So,
yeah.
I do think very shortly about the Hammerhead being vulnerable to. I mean, it's not vulnerable to light fighters, of course. I do feel like it's a ship that is actually somewhat vulnerable to a large amount of missiles or torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the idea is still that the gunners will probably take those out.
Yeah.
Little tangent back because Chat was talking about it again. My bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. They just need to have better targeting systems, and since they don't have any targeting systems at all, like there's no variation. I feel like something
probably
like
higher velocity for bullets for those turrets.
Better tracking for targeting and better like aiming.
Beam weapons maybe.
I see beam weapons.
Who knows? Beam weapons for the turrets or only for ships with larger power plants, for example. That'd be pretty cool.
Thorn1234000 asks, what happened to the Best in Show armor? They had Best in Show armor last year, but you didn't get it for free. You had to buy it. I think the answer is like it's not really Best in Show armor, but they already have it. You can purchase in the armor packs, the ship pack armor packs for Invictus or for IAE. So that's pretty much it. Logathrin asks, question, will the white and gold Valkyrie skin work on the Asgard? Valkyrie skin. Do the Valkyrie skins work on the Asgard?
No.
So then no.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So no.
Well, I might be mistaken, but as far as I know, no.
Chat would be no, because I don't know what skins work on the Asgard. So I don't think it does, though. Because it's not the same ship.
It's not a variant.
It's similar
it's just a completely...
chassis, but very different.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah,
like the
it's not the
difference between the
variant.
wolf and the alpha wolf, or the golem and
QA
the
stated that they
golem
won't.
ox,
Yeah,
QA stated they won't. Okay.
chat is saying no. Yeah.
89 Deck Dog asks, obvious question: will Perseus win next year's Best in Show?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a stacked competition next year. You've got
I
the
mean, I
Clipper.
think so.
The Clipper is already super popular. It's not going anywhere. People love that ship. You got the Ironclad, which is another
Yeah.
really popular one. That's coming out next year. And the Galaxy won't have a chance because the Galaxy isn't coming out until after Best
Too
in Show is
late,
over. And then you have all of the other vehicles and ships that are going to be coming in, which are going to be like the Forge is a big one, and then the Auxilia and the yeah. I mean, I
Another Kruger ship, the Stingray.
yeah could see it as a Kruger.
But I do think that the Perseus is very likely to at least be top 4 and probably win, just because of how extremely overhyped it is, and especially with engineering, I think it is going to become pretty powerful pretty quick.
Yes, no, I think the Perseus is definitely gonna be in the top 4. Winning will be another matter because
Yeah.
the Clipper, and depending on what they release next year, the Clipper is also going to be in there.
Just for memes.
Well, people love that ship, unironically
Fair
love
enough.
that ship. I know that I promised Piss Poor Pete that we do the 85X to try to push that for next year to win.
85X is an insane call.
Gosh.
So we're going to try to push for the 85X because the 85X has no skins.
As an avid user of the 85X, I will partake.
Yes. It is a really good ship for what it does. It's a
It's a
fantastic.
pretty good small fighter, and it's really good to pick up people who
Yeah.
get lost.
Yeah, it's 2-seater. It's a nice go around ship. So yeah,
My taxi.
the only reason why I didn't get this year was because we were pushing for the Gladiator, and the Gladiator got 4th place, which is bullshit. It got 3rd place, but
Oh well, good try.
it's still in the top 4. Now it got 3rd place in terms of votes, but like it got in the top 4, so it got its skin. That's really what people wanted. So
Nice.
yeah, 85X next year. That's the big push. So it's going to have to be 3 ships, and I think if those 3 ships are going to be it, it's going to be the Perseus, the Ironclad, and the Clipper. Right now, the Clipper might fall out of favor if something else comes out, but yeah. All right. Sandgroper asks, should CIG release the first wave Best in Show skins to fit ship owners at the start of IAE instead of right at the end? It feels weird to see nice Best in Show skins ships flying around during the event. I feel it would be nice to see it. No, I'll tell you why. You get the ship as long as you have it in your hangar. So if they issued it at the very beginning of IAE, people would melt all of their ships.
That's maybe where he said first wave, though, to sort of like
First
spread
wave.
out the waves.
So people who
So
got
it
it
might
at the
be
very
like-
beginning,
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that they
they'd still
do
people
a
would
second wave later on.
but people would still melt it after that, so they could use it for something
Idris
else.
would also
Yeah,
qualify
maybe.
next year. Good grief.
Oh, Idris, it was this year. It was eligible this year. They banned it. They blacklisted it.
That's
so-
crazy.
Just because the Best in Show gets free access to the ships, and they didn't want to have like the Polaris and the Idris be rentable on the same day, kind of thing.
That would be chaos again, just
Yeah.
like Invictus.
Wow.
So, but I could see maybe if you first wave it, but I still think that a lot of people would then cross chassis upgrade it pretty quickly, because especially if they've been holding onto it for a while and they're like, oh well, Best in Show, I got it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that what they should do is let you buy Best in Show skins. So
Yeah, I agree.
maybe mark them up because they're only during the event, so double the typical skin. I still think people would grumble about it, but then you would be able to have people purchase it with credit anyways. Still, so well, yeah.
I'm still kind of sad about the entire painting system that we don't just have like a way to, you can change the color of your ship, but if you actually want a nice texture to it, then you need to buy a paint. That
Yeah.
would be so much cooler in my opinion, but I get that they're doing this way.
I agree. I mean, like, I know a lot of people say it's a bullshit excuse because CIG just wants to sell skins to make money, and I think that's definitely there. But CIG, if they just wanted to make money, they'd sell a bangle.
Well,
They'd not limit the amount of Idris. So like there's a reason
right.
behind why they sell what they do. And a lot of it is, as much as it sounds weird to say, artistic integrity. So
It does, of course, also limiting ships like the Idris or the Phoenix and the 890 also just have effect on FOMO.
yeah.
I think for the Phoenix especially, it nearly makes it more popular because of its whole limited state. But yeah, I don't know. I do agree that part of it is also, of course, the actual, yeah, as you said, artistic integrity, sort of.
What they want. Yeah. So
Yeah, they would.
so I think if they sold it for cash, people would buy it because there's plenty of people like myself who own a gladiator in game. And if you gave me the ability to buy a ship skin and then that I can use for a ship I earn in game, that's an extra income that CIG can get without
Yeah.
forcing people to have a ship. So
Yeah.
I'm all about CIG diversifying their income, so it's like small things. But then again, I'm also a big fan of CIG actually letting us paint our ships. I understand why they don't, because they're like, well, we don't want ugly ships, but it's like,
I
why
just
do you
wish,
care?
like,
Why do you care?
Right.
Let us be also artists. God damn it, you know.
We don't
I
want
just wish it
curse
would just be
words, we
the
don't want random,
no curse
you know
words.
what,
Yeah.
pictures.
Oh yeah.
I
Sorry.
mean, they do want to do it with the orgs that an
Yeah.
org can have as sort of paint color scheme, but still, I just wish players would at least have the option to just literally change one color. So like one part, you can not change or not have multiple color paints, no patterns, no nothing, no specific textures, but just like if you have the gladius, for example, that's like the sort of green color, then you could change that green to another hex code, and
Yeah.
that would be it. I
And
wish that would just be an option.
if they limited the amount, so they would just, because they can test them pretty easily. They could just throw a bunch of colors in, and then they go, okay, these are the colors you can use for this ship.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
for actual paints with cool textures, metal, gold,
Yeah.
or entire patterns, then of course, cosmetics, and then you can buy them.
Yeah. If when they were able to
prefer
paint
that.
our ships, 75% ships with verse will be black. To a degree, that's the case, but I think there's a lot of people who, because it's an MMO, want to have personal expression, and that's where
Yeah.
that customization comes in. CIG has never made
Black,
an
so
MMO
people
before.
don't see it.
Yeah, people like black, so they don't see it because they think black is cool. People love black.
For targeting, it's not.
No,
It won't
'cause
matter much, of
I can
course.
still
but
see
yeah.
you with my
Yeah,
sensors.
exactly. It doesn't really matter.
Yes, it's not hard to desaturate a texture, then multiply it back 3 tint and lerp with the original if you want a bit of original blend. It's simple. Yeah, but I think it's also have more experience with this, Damien, and I think there's a couple people in chat who have this sort of experience. They don't want certain color palettes, certain types of colors on the ship because it doesn't look good. Like too flat or too reflective. It just doesn't work with the style of the ship. So
Yeah, but then they do make, the Day of the Vara paints like last year, and then I'm like, dude, come on, what is this?
Yeah.
The purple with bright greens, like gravity or paint spilled on them.
which is my counter to that is like they're like, well, we don't want ugly ships. It's like, you make ugly ships. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
make
what I
ugly
mean. Like,
paints.
it
Let us
sounds
do
like
it
a bad
ourselves.
excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get why they
Hopefully-
do it, but yeah.
Hopefully the org paints bring some more customizability, at least to the bigger orgs, because of course they're gonna probably have to limit it to big orgs to filter
Yeah.
any weird org logos and stuff like that.
All right. Next question comes from Citizen Ninja, who asks, has CIG given up on its on Origin? It's been over 4 years since the last Origin ship released, 400i, and the 600i rework beginning to look a lot like it might be a post 1.0 update. No, because they said at the thing that was the one of the manufacturers they're adding is Origin. They're going to do an Origin ship
SCL
next year.
they said next year there's an Origin ship. I'm really curious if it's going to be the 600i rework or just the G12, because it might be a decent time for them to add a ship like a G12 since they're just kind of getting the ground vehicles done. And G12 isn't that hard to add, no special features.
They'll probably add
It'd be funny if it's an Origin motorcycle before the Ranger.
if they added the Origin motorcycle, then they have no excuse to not add the Ranger. I'd love that, at the very least. Because
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
We already have the Origin hover bikes, of course, as well. So
But I mean, we all know that CIG won't do the Ranger until they have done multiple versions of a motorcycle, because that's they.
Yeah.
Ask any game developer about trying to do the physics for a motorcycle. As far as I understand, whenever I've talked to game developers about motorcycle physics, they give you the 1,000-yard stare. They give you the oh God, why do I remember Vietnam now suddenly? I was never there. It's for some reason people hate it. People hate trying to code those physics or those things. So,
Mhm.
you know,
I just hope. I really hope it's the 600i rework though. G12 would be nice, but the rework of 600i would be great because currently both of the ship variants, the touring and the normal variant, arguably just suck. They're pretty bad.
yeah.
In all, just for engineering, they're bad. They're outdated for engineering. They're bad for any purpose realistically, even as an all-rounder.
Next question comes from Axis0096, who asks, "What manufacturer will produce the battle cruiser?" I think we've already talked about this off camera, but we've narrowed it down to it has to be not Origin. It has to be Anvil or RSI. Those are the only ones that make sense. Because in lore, if it was an Aegis ship, it would have to have been an older ship, and if there was an older Aegis battlecruiser, it would have probably been at the Battle of Vega 2. And we know that
in lore mentioned at another point in previous battles, etc.
Yeah, and
maybe a clunker.
Yeah, so it's likely it could be like a Perseus in the sense that it was a ship that was available at the time, but then was completely mothballed, and this is sort of a rebuild of that ship. But it's most likely going to be a new ship, and if it's a new ship, then it's going to be Anvil or RSI. And I think unless they want RSI to dominate the larger ship market, because that means they would have the Corvette, the escort carrier, the cruiser, the battle cruiser, and the carrier. So they'd have 5 of the 7 categories of capital ships.
And they've already been on the record and said we're going to see multiple variants of pre-existing large military ships categories. I mean,
well, with them also moving towards what seems like they want to move towards releasing something like a Liberator, especially with the price increase that I think we were told about, or that
they haven't said
it's going to happen at some point.
But they
haven't said it. Okay, but it does seem like we're moving towards. Yeah, exactly. And it does seem like we're moving towards that. It's one of the largest Anvil ships, the Liberator, if we do get it. And we, of course, got the Paladin and, a bunch of larger ships. So it would make sense for it to be Anvil as well, in the sense of that they have teams focus on certain manufacturers at the moment, where they would then continue after something like the Liberator to the Battlecruiser, as in actually building it in the game.
Yeah, because that would be the base work for the to build out the what do they call it, the library
composition.
Well, the library, the asset library for larger
asset library,
because they really don't have an asset library for larger Anvil ships. It's the Carrack, but the Carrack is so old that it's probably not helpful.
Exactly.
So
I mean, as they said in the SCL, the older ships like the Carrack have completely different. They're built in different ways, as in the actual meshes are probably, not separated in the same way as they would separate certain objects in the ship nowadays. And thus, I don't think they're going to use the Anvil assets, or the Carrack assets, sorry, because, as you just said, it's probably just too old and probably doesn't. The assets might not even be well split at all, so they would possibly have to just manually, cut out certain pieces and then use that, which is just going to be chaos. And I don't think CIG wants to do that.
If they did with the Carrack, it would be a Mark II. The current Carrack we have is ancient.
Yes,
like you just said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's what Bob was saying. So, but I also don't see them doing a Mark II Carrack, because it's just they probably did what they did, and they're just going to leave it at that. I think
they're just going to gold standard it. Yeah. Especially since they mentioned in the SCL as well. There's so much information in the SCL.
2 hours, y'all. I think it's 2 hours.
Yeah, it's actually crazy that there's so much info. But they mentioned something about what was it again? That they were gonna a crafting station in the repair room. And that makes me think that they're just gonna go rework it without, actually making it a new, like a Mark II.
Apparently, if you go to the Carrack right now, they've already cleared out a space for it. So in the model, they've
Oh,
already updated
that's
the model
interesting.
to have a space for the crafter. They just haven't added it in there yet. So,
Cool.
Trouble Magnet asks, do you agree with their response for the lack of pilot control for the Polaris torpedoes, especially considering the Idris pilot can control the main gun or torpedoes if they're installed? No, but I also don't agree with CIG's approach to multi-crew ships currently.
It's a strange one.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to be consistent at all. Um, I don't even, to be fair, I barely even understand. I mean, I guess it's sort of sensible with the railgun and stuff on the Idris that, it's like the railgun replacement, so then the pilot would fire them, but still I feel like it would have to be a separate control station. And of course, you have some balancing, like on the Perseus, where you can only fire the torps forward as the pilot. So actually, if you want to use them to full extent, you need an operator there. But it does feel kind of strange.
Yeah. I feel like the excuse they had as well was weak, which is like, oh, well, how
Yeah.
do you coordinate? I'm like, I don't know. Have you ever played a game where you had to use like teamwork to fire stuff? Heaven forbid. And I know people are like, well, then they would just push a button. It's like, then you can have them do other things while they're there too, other than push the button. That's their job, is to push the button, and then also you can have it so they manually realign the coils or something like that, or you could even do it so that they're in charge of doing engineering stuff, diverting power, because like the answer is there are like 6 seats or no, there are 8 seats other than the pilot on the bridge of the Idris. And if the answer
Right.
is what are those for? Oh, right now they're just for taking over turrets. Like that's the laziest thing. They're gonna need to do more anyways.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe some engineering controls in the future and
yeah,
someone fully controlling shield faces, but like that doesn't seem like that interesting of gameplay.
yeah.
So it does seem a bit strange. Yeah.
And I mean, it's not very interesting to sit in those chairs and just spin around your turret either. So
No, it doesn't.
it's already at a stage where like it's not going to be high octane engagement all the time. So balancing it by requiring another person to fire it makes sense. And on top of that, if you could still do it as a single person, you just need to get out of the pilot seat, walk over to the other seat, and then take over the controls
fire.
and then fire. But that would make it more difficult to use for a single person. But
Mhm.
if they had made it today, they were going to have been on a turret. Yeah, it would have been on a rail. Like the rail on the Scorpius or the Javelin. So
Right.
So the problem I have with it is that eventually they're going to realize, oh, we've got a lot of solo Idris pilots. How are we going to balance this? And the way they're going to balance it is going to piss off all the solo Idris pilots, because it's going to be, you can't use this solo. You need somebody else to use it. And
Yeah,
then the
because
people.
especially
Good.
with the Idris, you can just run it even with wear and tear, but especially because the Idris is getting pretty good armor compared to other ships, most likely. It's going to be able to sustain itself for a while, and then just having a pilot, it's probably going to allow you, unless there are people there ready to, like a Perseus or Ares, really hammering down on your power plant or something. It's quite likely that an Idris pilot will be able to take a few shots with his massive gun, just soloing the ship, even with engineering.
Yeah. Yeah. And right now, what they're used for is completely bypassing intended gameplay, where you just
Yeah.
load up the cargo on the Idris, and now you've got an armored transport that no one can touch you. It takes so long to take you down, they just ignore you. So you can make millions of credits just by throwing stuff on an Idris. So it breaks
Why
the
smuggle
economy.
if you can just use the Idris?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't give a shit if the UE can see me. They have to get through my armor and my shields, and by that time I'm gone.
yeah.
But once engineering comes in, you're not going to solo pilot a Polaris anymore. I think you still will be able to. That's the problem, is that there's no reason why you couldn't. And CIG's even said that, yeah, you can still solo it. So I think when it comes down to it, they're eventually going to have to put some balance passes on these things to make them more valuable for multi-crew, but also to kind of require them to be multi-crew to really need other people in order to make them functional. Beyond basic go from point A to point B, and that process is going to piss off a lot of people because it's them not seeing far enough. They're not really seeing the game in 1.0. They're seeing the game as it is now, and they're worried about what it is now, not the balance in the 1.0 version, which is weird.
Mhm.
All right. Next question comes from Fishbait, who asks, "What do you all think of the changes to the Ironclad and the Hull series ships?" Axis?
Hold on. Okay, the Hull and Ironclad ships.
Yeah,
well,
the changes. Like
the Hull B we knew was going to change a lot.
Yeah.
Because the A went up from 48. They even mentioned it during the SEL we were just talking about. The Hull historically was the Hull A, I'm sorry, was 48 SEU originally. And with the old metrics, it didn't make much sense with their cargo containers. So they went up to 64. So that's a big change.
It's already been happening.
And
yeah.
Then the B goes up from 384 to 512 and X configuration.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only one of the 5 that stayed around the same. Yeah, I said 512, Jenna.
Yeah.
And I think the only one that really stayed the same was the Hull C.
Yeah.
And I think they said it stayed within like 20 or 30 within the original ballpark. But the D and the E, they dropped a lot because, in their words, and I kind of agree with it, who's going to spend hours or days loading these ships?
90,000 SCU. 90,000.
I know. It's like, oh my God, you need like 50 guys.
3,032 SCU containers. 3,000.
Even with 50 guys.
Yeah.
Even with 60 guys, that's 500 crates each.
Yeah.
It's unreasonable.
That is ridiculous, and also for the economy, of course, and balancing out the if I'm allowed to use elite terms, the DGS.
Yeah.
Like balancing out that stations don't just get crazy amounts of medical supplies or alcohol or whatever, distilled spirits. I do feel like it was a reasonable change. Yeah.
Thank you, Escape, for gifting 26 gifted subs. By the way, you are a madman.
Holy
that is You are a madman.
26?
Yes.
26.
Wow.
I don't know.
And okay, that was just the Hull changes. The Ironclad changes, they went through the interior, found space they could use, and improved. The Ironclad basic massively went up. I think it's even with its current amount of price, right? $450. It's cheaper than a Hull C, but has almost 3/4 the cargo. Almost 2/3, but still pretty close.
I also like to remark for Escape because when he gifts these subs, he likes to say, "Hey, if you get the sub, you have to support him because Escape wants a dumbfire rocket version of the Shrike, kind of like the rockets on the Delta, so like a ground attack version of the Shrike."
A10 basically.
Yeah, kind of like but like just dumbfire rockets. And
right.
Personally, I like the idea because in lore, the Talons were really known as a ground attack. I mean, they did dogfighting, but they were really terrifying for ground attacks. They made that shrieking sound.
Like bombardment.
They were dive bombers. Yeah.
So they do this real quick and drop their payload.
Yeah, and so the idea of having a version which is just dump everything into an area as you're charging down is great. Is great. So they're basically Stukas. So
almost like the Aegis. God, what is it? The burst fire missile boat, the Saber.
Oh, the Saber Firebird. Yeah,
the Saber Firebird, similar concept, maybe they saw something in those ships.
Yeah,
A similar tactic they could do.
but it's just a
They
gunfire.
those
Yeah.
can you fire those?
You can, but I mean, in this case, we're talking about like the Delta has its missile pods, its rocket pods. So he calls it the rocket strike. So I'm just saying you're contractually obligated if you got a gift sub from Escape to support his proposal for a Tavaran Shrike with rocket pods. So,
Hey, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that.
it's a cool
good
idea. I love it. So
Also, can we get a gladiator that can do that, please?
just give me bombs. Just give me bombs on the pylons.
something.
We can bomb pylons. Northern Trooper asks, question, is CIG attempting to break 1 billion in funding for marketing purposes? No, they're attempting to break 1 billion in funding so they can keep the food on the table, keep the lights on. Like you if you look at CIG's marketing, or not CIG's marketing, CIG's financials they publish, they're usually a year or two behind. But if you see their financials, they're almost always very thin margins. Sometimes they make money, but we're talking like a profit of like 2 million. So like you give them $150 million, they'll spend $150 million in a year. They'll find ways of spending it. They're like, so one of the theories that's been going on as to why they were doing what they're doing today is that they're trying to build up a war chest for marketing so they can start off a marketing campaign for Squadron 42. That's where their big goal was, because they probably don't have any of that money left over that was invested to help them with marketing for Squadron, unless they set it aside already. But all right, Chewed Gumballs asks, now that we have crafting tables and the Forge announced in Star Citizen context, what is the difference between manufacturing, crafting, and fabrication? They're all the same thing. The way to understand in terms of in fiction, crafting would be, of course, Agent giving more subs. Thank you, Agent. Is you with your hand building something. And it's kind of like if today you, as Jin said, there's actually no connotation, but if you're talking about like in fiction, people have armies of 3D printers. And they will build things with their 3D printers. They'll take the design, build the 3D printers, and sell it online. And like that's how JRDF makes its money. They sell the ship models, Star Citizen ship models. They're all 3D printed, but they're using like industrial 3D printers. They don't have a factory. They use a building they use as basically a factory. And so the difference between you and say RSI is that you can build an Aurora in 3 days. RSI can build an Aurora in 3 minutes. You know, like have a new Aurora being churned out of a factory much faster than you can. So thank you all. Does that make sense? Hopefully, because I think the idea is like, what's the difference between manufacturing, crafting, and fabrication?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the same. I do think that certain things like manufacturing or fabrication, I guess it's technically the same, but we are going to have some differences, I think, of course, between like stations that can craft this or that, and then other stations that are way larger and actual buildings that can actually craft ships, etc.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's 10 more gift subs. Thank you all. Thank you.
The hype train is actually going insane.
Yeah, level 7.
Whoa.
Level 8.
You're at level 8, bro.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you all. Thank you.
You're going to be having a good New Year's party, Paul.
Well, I mean, the
Very nice.
Astro Historian I've been saying is been really good because I just happened to release 3 videos at the right time in November, and then doing all of these lore tours, and I have been making more money on the Astro Historian than I've ever made on YouTube ever. So it's been good. It's been good. So this community is very generous. I'll just say that. New Year's. What we got to do this New Year's is we got to do a. I got to talk with. I should have done it a long time ago, but it's not December yet. I can probably reach out. I'd like to do a. I forgot what it's called. Church of the Traveler has a tradition where you do a trip on New Year's Eve, where you leave on New Year's Eve and you arrive at your location on New Year's Day. So doing something similar to that, Shinobi. Goddamn.
Thank you, Shinobi. Whoa.
I am humbled by them. Did you say so? I was going to do a pubathon today, but I decided not to do a pubathon because I am shot. I am exhausted. I am running on an average of 3 hours of sleep for this entire week because I've been busy doing stuff. So
Yeah, that people you said more money.
and I normally would have just like, but it's been really nice. You know, like everything that's been happening has been really nice. So thank you for all that. But anyways, moving on. Gruntling asks, question, did they mention anything about a ship-to-ship docking? We seriously need that feature, think Legionnaire. Yes, they haven't mentioned it in ISC, but they've talked about it, that they do want to do it. And then, of course, James comes in with another 10 subs. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to
It
shut
really
up
is
now,
Thanksgiving,
Paul.
I guess.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you for giving thanks. I appreciate it. Oh, God.
We're just along for the ride, brother.
Yeah, I'm just flabbergasted, I'm gonna be honest.
I've never seen a hype level 9.
They do this sometimes. They'll just do it because, like, one time someone walked in and said it's really annoying that you party, because I do a dance usually when we do this when I'm not doing captain's table. It's annoying that you dance every time you do this. It really breaks up the flow. And so the entirety of the chat said, "Oh, you don't like it?" And then just started
We
gifting,
start
spamming it. And like the one person was like, "I get it. You're gonna give me a cut now, right?" And it's like,
Just like with the audio things and stuff.
yeah.
The power-ups, whatever they're called, the points.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
And then we got
What was the question again?
the question is, where do you people? Well, I was going to say, where do you people find this money? It's like, wait, you're Star Citizen fans, of course. You have the money. That's how you get ships.
Cora?
Yeah,
Agent? What?
Cora and Agent again. Agent. I think it's the second 5 stack that Agent dropped. I think. No, he hasn't. Yeah, it's the second 5 stack he dropped.
Yeah, it's the second.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, guys. And somehow I'm in your chat, and from all these subs, I haven't gotten one. How
You
does
haven't
that
gotten a
even
sub
happen?
yet?
No, how what are the chances here?
You say that build and play, and now someone's going to find
Oh,
out that
yeah,
you're
no,
build
guys,
and play
don't,
underscore.
please
He's
do
going to
not.
do it. They're going to do it.
Oh my gosh.
No, give everything to Paul. We're just the guests, guys. Come on.
So
Well, you just gifted another
we're
10.
the humble guests.
the question is ship to ship docking. Ship to ship docking.
Oh right.
Sorry.
I mean, as far as we know, we do know that CAG wants it, as you just mentioned, I think. But I doubt it's going to be anytime soon. And I think that it's one of those things that CAG kind of wants, but I feel like they haven't really prepared for well enough. With the purchase, we clearly see that they are thinking about it now, because the purchase clearly has very good docking ports, both sides, for arguably not that large of a ship.
Yeah, I mean,
But I do still...
they redid the
Go on.
Reclaimer for the same reason. So the redid.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they are moving towards that, and I hope that CG will also, some ships, like for example, once again the E1, as a passenger nerd, what can I say? The E1 doesn't have a docking collar, which in my opinion then doesn't make much sense, that you have to enter via the cargo ramp. I do feel like a lot of those kinds of ships that are made for transporting people, even if it's more military focused stuff, will definitely get ship-to-ship docking and stuff.
No, I think it's a pre 1.0 feature. That's just one of those. A lot of these things, I think they know how to do it, and they can probably code it. It's a matter of how much time and effort do we put into this when we could be doing like engineering,
Yeah, it's
crafting.
not a priority
It's
at
just not
all.
a priority,
Yeah, it's not at all.
Yeah, there goes Escape. I told you it was going to happen. You mentioned that you didn't get one, so they're just going to give you one.
Oh, thank you, Escapee. I didn't even notice. I didn't know you could select the specific person. That's not what I. That's
No,
not what I
you
meant to do.
can, and they gave you a tier 3 sub, so you have the highest sub.
Oh, whoa.
Enjoy it.
Lord.
Enjoy the golden shower. There's a story
Thank you
behind
so
that.
much. Golden shower is a little crazy, maybe.
The joke is don't buy a wireless headphone, wireless headphones with a mic, and forget to turn it off when you use the restroom during a podcast, because
Has this happened?
yes, twice with me. I did it twice.
Oh, you did it.
I did it
You
twice.
yourself.
Yes. To be
You
fair,
you went.
my argument was that I was moving to Tennessee to Texas at the time. So I was mobile and I had my new wireless headsets that so I was using that instead of having to set everything up. And I just forgot to turn it off. It was bad. So I decided that in honor of this stupid mistake that I made, I would make a golden shower. So for tier 3, you get literally a golden shower head. It's called Pub Shower. So enjoy that one.
Insanity. Good lore drop though, and once again more subs.
You're about to beat your freaking record.
I have no idea. Yeah, it says I'm about to beat my record. Yeah, but by the way, my record was with Loken last Friday.
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
Guys. Calm down.
Guys, hold on to the money. You don't want to kill your wallets. Come on.
I mean, they all realized that this IE just wasn't it, and they just have all this like budget
Extra
left,
money?
and they're,
Yeah.
they're just throwing it at you now.
Hey, Major Star stuff. I'm sorry for those who are watching this after the fact. Like it's just happening.
And everyone on Spotify and stuff listening to this
like,
just
what the
absolutely
heck's
confused.
Yeah,
So
what's a
what
hype
is
train?
happening right now? For context, guys, Paul just got a lot of money. We're talking Perseus money here. Okay, well, not Perseus, but like
close.
pretty close. Oh well,
There goes
we
the
go.
record.
They've just reached it.
They love you, Paul.
They do. I don't know why, but they do.
I mean, if I had the expendable income, I'd do the same.
Thank you.
Your lore is the backbone of my tours, man. Like,
I'm glad to help. Yeah, like I said, just let me know and I'll jump on one of those. That'd be good to do.
that'd be really fun.
All right, next question. With the Aurora coming, what other Mark IIs do you expect? We said a little earlier. MSR and Connie seem obvious, but what else? I think
Freelancer.
I think the Freelancer and the Cutlass.
Yeah, both of them probably.
The other
Let me
one,
scroll through the ships real quick.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think the Mustang. The Mustang is fine. God damn it,
The Mustang's actually pretty good. I think it's one of the better starters that was surprisingly good for the time when it was released. Future proof wise.
Yeah. I could see a Mark II of the. I'm trying to think of what else. I think all the ships will eventually get a Mark II. Like, that's just keep that in mind. All the ships will get a Mark II.
Well, if the game exists for long enough, yeah,
Yes.
then
Yes.
I do think so. Yeah.
The Avenger isn't a good one. I think the Avenger might get a Mark II. That's one of the older ones
Avenger?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does feel like it would. It's surprising. It's old, but it's pretty good somehow.
It's solid.
Even with engineering and stuff. So I don't know if they really want to, well, at least not in the near future, spend the time on the Avenger. But maybe.
What's the drink of choice, Mr. Bartender? If you're going to buy a drink, to think of me, there's two things. There's one I always order, which is the old fashioned. Old fashions are easy. Almost every place can make an old fashioned. But the other one is that if you want to risk having a very, very quick night, order a Red Death. Red Death
sounds mental.
It is mental. It's basically like 6 different alcohols poured together over cranberry juice. So
I looked away from chat for about like 20 seconds and there's another like 15 gifts.
yes,
What is happening, guys?
I don't know.
Some more ships that really need a Mark II. I think maybe an M50.
Oh yeah, the M50 would be good.
The Hawk is maybe one as well, especially when we actually get like proper bounty hunting, of course.
Never mind.
And Agent once again.
Yeah.
It was your wallet, Agent. Come on.
What, guys, thank you, but goddamn. Level 13.
I've never seen this high before, guys. What's
Yeah.
happening?
The Mark II would be
Mantis? No, Mantis is probably fine.
Mantis is probably fine. I could see some
Gladiator.
interior works. Yes, the Gladiator needs a Mark
Gladiator.
II. It needs a Mark II.
Gladiator needs a Mark II. It's
Yes.
also because of, well, I mean, maybe with engineering it doesn't, it gets less bad, but right now the Gladiator is surprisingly strong because of its high hull HP
Mhm.
and how the hull HP is distributed. So yeah, that definitely needs updating. That one.
The Gladiator is good. The other one that I would say, someone already said Cutlass. Yeah, we already said Cutlass Mark II.
Taddy?
The caterpillar.
It's Caterpillar, yeah, for
It,
sure.
it needs an ironclad overhaul.
It's so painful to load.
It's
yeah,
an
it's so
ironclad
painful to
overhaul.
load.
Yeah.
The colonies we did mention already. Hurricane probably. Um,
Yeah, Hurricane would be another one. Like a Mark. That one makes
Terrapin
sense.
possibly with actual scanning gameplay once that gets in.
Yeah. Because I say like the Hurricane makes sense because the Hurricane in lore is old. It's like the first.
It's really old, yeah.
It's the first pre anvil ship. So having an anvil take on the Hurricane would be neat. You know. I wonder if we
would
get
make
a
sense, yeah.
Reclaimer Mark II. We are getting a Reclaimer overhaul. Like they've already said
Yeah.
that.
That might just, wasn't that going to be just like a rework?
Of the interior, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be mostly a rework though, not necessarily a Mark II.
Hate
the
Mark
Reclaimer.
IIs. Mark IIs are just CIG trying to update the designs that were built before they had an idea what the game was going to be. So
Yeah, I kind of get it, but it's also annoying because if you have a Mark One, then it's like, dude, you just made a new ship that I now have to buy
yeah, to get the same.
to
the
get.
same
So to me, it's like I just would really appreciate it if CIG. I don't know if they do this already. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would really appreciate it if they would just give everyone who has the Mark One,
the
just
option to
give
get
them
free
a
Mark II.
CCU
Yeah,
that is like maybe like non-giftable because it's probably going to be a price increase as well, so that they can at least upgrade it to a Mark II
yeah.
for free without anything like without any spending. But I guess that might be an issue with once again like gifting and stuff like that because then they want to phase the CCUing out, and then you might get
They-
people who have these.
They
like,
could lock in. They could say if you
CCUs.
upgrade this, it locks your account to your account and you can't gift it.
Yeah, exactly, like an ungiftable but still meltable,
Yeah.
something like that. That would be great, I think.
Since Paul knows my ideas, I suggest in 2026 we must have a new Hornet like the one from the Squadron 42 video. Oh, like the MX or the X, the Hornet X.
But aren't they doing it for both the F7 and F8? F7X,
Yeah.
F8X?
X, they both have X's, yeah.
Yeah.
He's making a voice
guess
out of
that's-
McCann. Wait, what do you mean? God, fucking.
Agent again? Also, Linux, thank you so much.
We
All
love
right.
you guys so much.
All right.
This is insanity.
Q Solo SC asks, what secondhand buffs or nerfs do you think come with engineering? I think bunker and what the fuck? What the? Did he give out 50 community subs?
50 subs! 50 subs.
50?
Oh, this is like biggest streamers on the platform size. What is happening?
I don't know.
Level 15.
I'm already broken. What are you talking about?
Paul, just enjoy the money.
I mean, I am going to, but it's just like I don't deserve this.
Is it time for another giveaway, guys? No.
You know what? I'm gonna do a giveaway just because I wasn't gonna do it because I wasn't gonna do a long enough stream. But y'all, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. Let me. I do
This is
have.
insane.
I do have a ship to give away. Hold on.
They spent so much money, you are convinced to keep going. That's actually
Yes.
insane.
Might want to stop the bot.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop something, but like, hold on, look through.
Thank you, Holster, for another 10.
Let's do a clipper. I've got the clipper. It's a LTI clipper with the down the like the full insurance. Elements. Here y'all go.
if any other like streamers from the SC community just like open up your stream right now, they're gonna be so confused as to what just happened.
No, they'll know. They'll know exactly what just happened. They'll just be like, okay, cool, something, because this is something the Star Citizen community does. They just do this.
It's true. It's true. But it's still.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know why. I don't know why
Jaw
chat
dropping.
decided they wanted to shower me with it. You know, it just happens.
Whole day spirit.
Yeah, I guess so. The spirit
Kids are going crazy.
the spirit of the spirit of Anthony Tanaka, since Anthony Tanaka Day is Drake is December 6th.
I actually
December 3rd, actually, by the way. So
I saw a guy with an account called Lane Corpus in game. That was kind of funny.
nice. Clipper.
Of course, this is a reference to the to
I'm
that
gonna
guy
refrain
who.
refrain from entering because they don't believe in that.
That's fine. What is it reference to?
Well, this is for your fans. This is
Yeah, I didn't give any subs. I'm not entering either. That feels wrong. I just got the tier 3 from Escapee.
we're the guests, folks. Yeah, we understand.
What was the reference? The Lane Corpus that's the guy who shot him, wasn't it?
No, Lane Corpus is the cousin of the Mezzers. That was the
Yeah.
guy who like was in charge officially. It wasn't the guy who
Yeah.
actually shot him. The guy who shot him was like someone underneath him.
Yeah,
technically.
but it was one of his security guards. It was one of his advocacy agents.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, yep,
Yeah.
his,
But he's
his
level 6.
responsibility. And another 10 subs.
Of course.
Thank you, Father Sendai.
What is happening? Don't ask me, man. I just work here, okay?
It's just the night bartender.
Exclamation point giveaway, by the way, it should be updated for you if you want
Last
to get
time I
into
was here, it was with the what's it called? With the charity stream, and
Yeah.
the people were giving so much money already back then. Because I think during when I was, it was like we reached
Oh my lord.
the goal as well, and
Yeah.
now this is happening, guys. Holy crap! Oh,
Yeah, and another 10. You know.
and another
We're
10.
gonna be here all night at this rate.
Thank you, Cora.
The more you
Level
react to it, the more they
60.
do it, all right? just play
Oh, yeah,
cool.
I need
Just
to,
play cool.
okay, we need to focus on the questions. guys.
Yes.
Let's get back to what was the next one. Where we were still talking.
The question was, what secondhand buffs or nerfs do you think will
Oh,
come with
right.
engineering? I think bunker and
Very good
station
question.
turrets and missiles are now worth actually avoiding now. Yeah, to a degree, I think they're going to be avoided because you take a hit with a missile, you're going to probably ruin your ship. So, but it also gives you the chance to, if you get soft death, like I've been soft death by missile turrets a lot. Now you can just repair it. You can just repair it and get back get out of there. So, you know.
I'm hoping that it's gonna buff passenger transport gameplay because people will soft death more and get stuck, and then maybe want pickups to save their components or stuff like that. Kind of hoping for that, but we'll have to see. In actual like buffs and nerfs on specific ships, I think there are ships that will be buffed in air quotations because of engineering. Especially like for example the Ares Inferno. I think the Ares Inferno is gonna just all of a sudden be back. Like I think it's gonna be a ship that's gonna be used a lot. Especially since in the upcoming patch we're gonna get engineering without the limited range, because that's only tech preview. So the weapon range, so the range that your bullets go, isn't gonna decrease that much, which means that the Ares Inferno, because of its size, and because of engineering means a lot more people will be using bigger ships, I think, because it's exciting, and I think it also makes them in a certain way stronger. But then something like an Ares Inferno, it can just stay so far away from the ship they're attacking, and the ballistics from that gun are gonna shred anything, especially if it's focused on the power plant. I think I think that genuinely Ares Inferno is going to be just all of a sudden completely back in the
It's a
meta. Of course, not the fighter 1v1, but more the fleet.
Yeah, it's a
battle
sniper.
meta.
And just like any sniper in,
Yeah.
in any kind of FPS game, snipers can't act alone. They need support because if you can overwhelm a sniper pretty easily. So
I think, like someone said in chat just now, heavy fighters will be back. I think that is kind of the case. Yeah, at least against bigger ships. I still think that with how the current weapon balancing is, fighters, small fighters like F7s, or actually mostly smaller Gladiuses and Arrows will still be technically PvP meta because they can still stay far away and hit all their shots whilst never getting hit themselves. But I do think engineering will impact them, as in it will nerf them a little bit. With if they do get hit, they're probably instantly going to be in trouble and going to have to exit the fight for a few minutes to do the like MFD repair thing. And the wear and tear on smaller ships will also, I think, impact them quite heavily because small fighters that don't have a lot of ballistic ammo or not a large caliber that actually like is able to damage the armor are probably going to struggle to stay in a fight long enough without having to repair because of wear and tear to kill whatever they're trying to kill. So
Yeah, I also think
that's my first.
My thought is anything with an interior. Any small ships with an interior, immediate buff. Your freelancers, your cutlasses, especially your venture,
Because you can
repair it now. Now that you get knocked out, you
Yeah.
can just go back and repair it and be gone. So it actually gives you.
Yeah,
You don't have to like, oh, I gotta die, I gotta respawn, You can just fix your ship and go. You know.
that isn't certain buff. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's just general. All right, Axis, I'll ask you this question.
Other ships?
Okay, any other ships?
Yeah, I was just curious because I feel like it is going to impact it quite heavily. I think a Perseus will also be pretty strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was just trying to think if like other ships will, if there's any other ships that get a clear buff or nerf from this. I think certain ships, like a Mirai Guardian MX, might actually be sort of nerfed in a certain sense because its size 4 weapons might actually be less effective on larger targets than the QI's size 5s,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is going to have an interesting effect because, of course, the MX is meant for combat. And other than that, I mean, technically all single seaters, all bigger ships that people were using as solo ships, like cargo ships, are getting nerfed, of course, because the wear and tear with with what it looks like right now in Evocati, as far as I've heard, it is fast. It degrades your power plant and stuff like easily with 3% every 8 or so minutes, which means that just a few cargo runs, if not just one, might actually already cause some of your components to break down and thus cause issues for you. So we'll have to see.
Well, to see the
where it
balance on
goes.
that, because the balance
Yeah.
is going to be a delicate thing. They'll change it over time. I don't think the first version
sure.
of engineering is going to be the last. They'll balance it out so that eventually you'll have to repair it to a certain degree you probably have to do repairs every time you do like 4-hour session, just to do some
Right,
top
right.
ups. You know.
And also, just to respond on what people are saying in chat, it's ridiculously fast. Yeah, I agree. But this is, of course, info about components that were non-industrial. So these were, I think, military components.
Yeah.
And they seem to be the quickest, as in wearing down the quickest, except competition. Those are faster, I think, in their
Yeah.
wear and tear. And then industrial components are, of course, going to be components that probably have significantly slower wear and tear, but do break down pretty quick when it gets, I don't know, when they get hit, for example.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be some variation there in those components as well. That's where that wear and tear aspect is going to matter most. Because industrial should happen, should wear and tear the least, then civilian, then performance, and lastly military. Because military, like I think they're probably taking it based off of actual military, but also because it's the best in the game, so it makes sense for them to like wear down the most because that means you have to maintain them the most. But for those of you who don't know, anyone in the military knows who has to deal with vehicles, those things break. Those things break very quickly. Like
they're easy to fix in most cases, but yeah, they break.
They break frequently. Like tanks can operate, like Abrams can operate for like a couple hours usually, and then they have to stop and get maintenances. So. You know, go ahead.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
You were say something?
No.
Paul, did you promise to dye your hair if it goes to level 20? What's going on? I don't know. All right, chat. I don't know why they're doing this. Okay, they just are.
Level 17, guys.
Yes.
I looked away again, and it happened.
Depending on the vehicle, some military vehicles are better than others. That's true. But I think that for balance purposes, the idea of having really high performance, good equipment break down faster makes sense in the sense of like to balance out its usefulness. You know, the better it is, the more you have to pay attention to it. That's sort of just the balance. I think it'll be Abrams. Abrams are 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours of maintenance for every 1 hour of running. Humvree's more likely to get stuck than break down. Yeah.
Fair enough.
This is some kind of lore. What? That shouldn't be the topic, but yeah. Oh, it's
Someone who
30.
subscribed
That's
for
why it's
96 months.
that's
Nice.
what's going on. It's 35% off for every 5+ gift subs.
Oh, it's like Black Friday.
Yeah. So, thank
That
you.
is still crazy though, even with 35% off.
I get the full percent. They don't discount it for me, so it's just for CIG or CIG for Mr. Bezos.
For
so
Twitch.
Your Twitch.
You're basically saving, so they're basically giving you more money then.
Yes.
Or not more, but you know.
They're trying to encourage people to sub so that they get money, even though they're getting less money. They're getting more money because of the discount. Because more people are willing to. Pull
And also
the trigger.
probably because people will like resubscribe after, etc.
Mm-hmm.
After they got on the sub. Very nice.
So Velocity asked a question, but we already answered. Did you know you can buy the Best in Show paints this year? It's in the Best in Show page this year. You can't buy the paints this year. You can buy the ship packages. Is there a way you can buy in Best in Show paints this year?
Yes,
I don't think
the
you
old
can.
ones.
Oh, the old ones, yes,
The
but
old
you
ones,
can't
not the
buy
new
the
ones.
current paints, as far as I know.
Because he's saying it's on their web page this year. I think the one that's on the web page for Best in Show is the for this year is just the complete pack. That's the only ones. You can't buy the actual standalone ships or skins. I think that they should allow them to buy them at the beginning of the sale, though. Just buying them themselves. Because
All the Best in Show paint packs are just the old ones, as far as I'm aware.
yes, the Best in Show 2955 complete pack is all of the ships.
Yeah.
So it has the skins too and a bunch of other things, but yeah.
That is stupid expensive, I'm guessing.
The War Bond version is $1,425, which isn't too bad.
Right.
Considering all the ships you get
For Star Citizen standards, sure.
Yes, for Star Citizen standards, because like the Perseus or Polaris is one of them, and the Polaris is already $900. So
Thanks for another 10 subs, guys.
God damn it,
I'm
I'm not
sorry,
even paying
but
attention. I
Gren
step
and
away.
Crit me baby
Do
one more time.
time,
That's
yeah.
a wonderful username.
Oh, it finally ended?
Insane.
It finally ended?
I think it's finally ended.
Oh, God. Thank you. Oh,
He's
man.
going to have a very good shopping.
Insane, guys.
Oh, would you wait? Would you recommend I wait until 4.5 drop before I do my first Wicklow quest to get something fancy? Possibly, but the 4.5 because 4.5 is going to come out in the next 2 weeks. It's already in Evocati. It's going to go into Wave 1 on Monday or Tuesday, so they're really pushing it.
Mm-hmm. I really hope they wait long enough.
How do you feel that?
We'll see.
How do you feel about them describing Mark 1s as collector's items? I think it just makes sense in the sense that they're going to stop selling them, and so stopping to sell them means that they're going to be sort of nostalgia items. I also think that you'll still be able to find them in game because you can still buy the Mark 1s in game.
You can probably still craft them as well at some point.
Yeah, you can buy Hornet Mark 1s in the stores unless
In the game.
they've removed them. I don't think you can buy the Mark 2s. It's only the Mark 1s. So
In the in-game source, I don't know that's true.
yeah, they disabled
I'll have
fire
to
for the
check
current
this.
Evo build because it's literally issues of being on fire. the one time the Evo saying that Evo is on fire is literally true.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Indo. Vipezi asks, will we get the Ironclad before the Liberator? Yes. Yes, 100%.
Yes, for sure.
The Ironclad is in Greybox right now. The Liberator is it entered its production last month.
Yeah.
So basically early white box right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. We've got a couple questions left, and we're almost done. Thorn asks, does the Mystic Expanse possible for 2026? Almost certainly yes. It's almost
I think so
guaranteed
too.
because the Forge exists and it's coming out next year, and it's got a
Yeah.
it's got a refinery. So yeah, 100%. What do you think?
They do seem to be focusing
Yeah, especially crafting
on
and
that.
industrial. They even said
Yeah.
that like Nyx is industrial, like that's their main focus. So, what do you think, Axis? You think we're going to see the Expanse next year?
I think we will. There's been a definite push for some refining. We
Mhm.
may even get an information because of that theory crystal ball again because of the work of large RSI ships. I'm not going to say the Arastra will enter production. I think it already has, kind of.
Possibly.
But with the Galaxy already being prompted for IAE,
Mhm.
right? I think the Arastra will probably begin its journey from sketch to usable ship because if the Expanse is a refinery ship, the Arastra is the bigger one, basically the mini Orion. And
Yeah.
they're going to use the assets from the Arastra for the refined Orion.
So you think they'll do Galaxy and then Arastra using parts from the Galaxy to build the Arastra and then the Orion?
The Orion will take some time, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
They didn't
May even
mention.
have some bigger ship influences from bigger capitals for the Orion.
They didn't mention Consolidated Outlands on the ship manufacturers releasing next year, but they literally said that they're going to be releasing the Forge next year. So, unless that's been clarified, then Consolidated Outlands is coming out. Unless the Forge is somehow not coming out next year, which would be weird for the crafting ship to not come out with all of the other crafting ships. So,
They didn't mention it, they're right, but we'll have to see if that, actually how that goes. And I think that even maybe they didn't mention it, but with the amount of ships, since we're looking at in the 20s, like the number of ships releasing, there's a good chance that they may have forgotten to mention it. I'm not sure though.
chat's saying that the Forge is not next year because of the landing extractors. So that could be the case.
Oh, that could be, yeah.
But I still
Refinery is still
refinery is still one of those
likely,
things
I
that's
feel like.
likely because of crafting. It's got to be a thing.
And it feels like the earlier step. It feels like we need that before.
Yeah. I've closed out the questions, but someone says how many MDCs will fit on the Liberator, aka Poor Man's Hammerhead. I think the Liberator is going to get PDCs. I think that's one of those things because it's a 2-man ship. I think it's going to end up getting some PDCs added.
Yeah, it's a military subship. It's
Subcap.
basically a small light carrier.
Yeah, pocket
So, yeah.
carrier. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's meant for not being in combat. Like it's for logistics.
Yeah, but they also call it an
combat
assault carrier. So that's the new name for
Yeah,
it.
ground assault mostly.
So
Yeah.
I think getting some PDCs are going to be helpful for its defensive because it's a defensive, not an offensive ship. So
And somebody brought up the Galaxy as a refinery module.
It does.
So, yeah.
and the Galaxy is coming
that
out
is
at the
the
end of
case.
next
Yeah,
year.
you're right.
So it could come out without its components working, but they don't like doing that. They don't like doing the modules not working when it comes out. So
Someone also asked, will blueprints have different costs for same item and/or will will the values change? They seem to be curious about the Endeavor Super Collider being able to change attributes. Oh,
so tiers. We already know this.
Yeah, the
Blueprints
grades,
will
right?
different grade, like grade 1 through 5 for items and 1 through 3 for ships. So
Yep.
The Super Collider will help you upgrade your blueprints to higher tiers. So all right. Boop, 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 boop. Hercules asks, do you think there will be some crossover between the salvage and repair? Absolutely already is.
Mhm.
Salvage is just the reverse of repair.
And it has the same animation, but in reverse. It's the exact same thing, basically.
And I do think that when they actually do put legitimate repair, when they're actually like building out new things, that's just crafting combined with reverse salvage. So
Mhm.
it'll probably end up being kind of like how you can put your items on the on like cargo grids. You probably build a Hornet wing and then you pick up the wing and you move it over with a tractor beam towards the towards the Hornet, and it'll have a little hologram that says, "Hey, this is where you put the wing."
Put it
And
on.
you put it on, and it snaps on, and then you climb up there and you hit it with a beam to like seal it or something like that, to like weld it on.
Yeah, like basically like what's the English word? I don't not soldering.
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot the
welding.
Welding, that's
Yeah.
the word. Welding.
Soldering is similar, but yeah, it's just for
Yeah.
electronics.
Yep.
RSI Hermes, Myth of a December ship. I love that. The Myth of the December ship. Maybe. We're going to get a ship for it. We don't know what we're getting in December, though. Build and Play asks, what will happen to the escape pods of ships? Will it come around engineering? I think
I asked this since someone asked it before, but didn't put the question in
Question it?
there, so I decided to quickly.
yes, almost certainly. I think you'll be able to craft escape pods, or you'll be able to buy them as like components.
But
They've-
with engineering,
With engineering, yeah, because not with engineering, but with crafting. Probably not with engineering.
right?
I can tell you one thing that's going to be a problem, because CIG is very hesitant to do drop pods. They've said that they don't want to do drop pods from ships, even though in lore there are drop pods.
Never do have them, basically.
Yeah. So what I think is going to happen is players will make their own drop pods, which is just escape pods. They'll just fly over an
Okay.
area, put people in the escape pods, drop them off in the escape pods, and then you've got yourself a poor man's drop pod. So
You have the Argo Cargo escape pods, and you just have a bunch of Argo Cargos with
Yeah.
those escape pods, and you just drop out of them.
And if you remove the pods altogether, and if there's some sort of hole in the ship as a result, you could just jump out with like Icties or Titan suits, and then land on the
Forever apes.
you know.
Well, we'll have to see how or when they implement it, though, because so far we haven't actually seen any
Yes.
functional escape pods outside of the Squadron 42 trailer, basically, or
Yeah.
gameplay.
And that was
there's
obviously
also a
scripted.
lot of ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also a lot of ships that have escape pods. Well, they are standardized now. There are a lot of older ships that have very like different or a large variety. Apologies, of like escape pods. So I kind of doubt that that's just going to be like instantly functional.
Yeah.
So I
There's a-
think there's a lot of work for them there. I think.
They've gotten to the point where every manufacturer has its own unique escape pod, but they're all at least
Yeah.
manufacturer space, so they're going to have to get those manufacturing working. So
Yeah, and also like the escape pods right now, many of them don't actually have proper like exits out of the ship.
Yeah.
Some do, like the ones on the 890, for example. You have a clear like sort of area on the outside hull where you can see where the escape pod is behind it.
Mhm.
But then you also have a lot of ships where you have these smaller one-person escape pods, and there's no clear exit point for the escape pod. So does it just like clip through? Like we have no clue, I don't think.
yeah, there's some of them that just don't have they haven't built out the cutouts for them. So
Yeah, or just don't have any escape pods or eject option at all in certain cases, which is the worst case, of course.
Jen and Tonic asks, what do you think about a variant of the Prospector replacing the ore bags with fuel tanks and the mining head with a refueling probe, the MISC Fueler? It works.
I mean, yeah, it could be like a sort of competitor to the Vulcan, I guess, sort of.
Yeah. Well,
You might-
I can see it.
yeah.
Well, I've been of the opinion that the Vulcan, every part of the Vulcan needs to have its own version of starter. So we need a starter refueler, we need a starter repair, and we need a starter rearm.
Yeah.
And I think the simple, easiest one is the Drake Golem refueler. Just take the Golem
Yep.
and turn it into a refueler. And so with that same logic, taking the Prospector and turning it into a refueler makes sense. They did the same thing with Salvage. So, and we definitely need a medium refueler. Right now, it still need the Starfarer.
Drake Golden repair ship would also that also seems pretty funny.
Yeah.
Is there a new?
I'd say like an Argo repair
Awesome.
ship, maybe like a starter repair, which is Argo. Makes sense. So
Boris Heck, thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
yeah, thank you.
They are still going.
There's don't tell them that. Don't remind you. Oh wait, we can do that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have an idea for a version, Paul.
Mhm.
You know how we have the repair, the retribution. God, what is it called? The retribution? No, not the retribution. God,
The Crucible.
the RSI little salvager.
The Salvation, yeah.
Why not a repair version of that
Yeah.
with the same compact frame that you can use to repair the larger ships?
You could use the
Using
same,
exact
yeah, you could use the exact same same technology. Easy. It's because repair is just a reverse of salvage. It could work. Yeah.
and maybe the repair version hooks up to the salvager as a fueler.
Yeah.
It takes the boxes off of it.
Yeah. It's
And uses it as a.
it just like attaches it, has a tiny little refinery on it to refine some of those materials, and it's just repair right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you call it? The Salvation Patcher?
Well, you'd probably call it the RSI or invert the Salvation. So it would be the RSI.
Patch up.
Well, I'm trying to think of another because salvation is a pun on salvage, but you could do something similar with that sort of salvation theme, like
Reparation.
reparation, or the uh, uh, the repatriation or something like that.
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation. There we go. The RSI reincarnation.
Dude.
I would say Redeemer, but that would be too much because we already have the Redeemer. That would be the perfect one.
Mhm.
The RSI Scarab. Yeah, that could work too.
Renewal. There's a good name.
Yeah, RSI Renewal.
Revitalization. That's another close.
The Resurrection I think would work. The
I think
RSI
this entire
Resurrection.
chat just needs to work at CIG, guys.
RSI
I could
Resurrection.
see
There we go.
Scarab as a non-traditional name. Scarabs were technically in Egyptian mythology seen
Immortal,
as a
right?
immortal. Yeah.
And that's the name of the cab that repairs the ships in a crucible is called the Scarab. So
that's pretty cool.
yeah. Gin and Tonic asks, will the Freelancer Mark II be a crew of 2? If they do update the Freelancer, I think it needs to get a crew of 2. It needs to get it downsized to a crew of 2, and that back turret needs to be a remote.
Yep.
Um,
Makes more sense as well with this stupid entry animation right in your cargo bay.
yeah. They need to redo the entryway to match with the other entryways they've been doing, where it's just sort of like a ramp rather than a ladder up to a airlock. So it need to get up a little bit bigger too.
Uh-huh.
And then the last question is from Gin and Tonic, who asks, with the Mustang Mark II, will it bring back the Bang Stang? Please. That was the only reason why I'd want a Mustang Mark II to be built, is because they butchered my beta. They butchered my boy. They just slaughtered him. They just took him out.
What did they do to him? I mean, it must have been before my time.
So we used to call the beta the Bang Stang because the interior of the beta had so much personality. It had a literal Netflix and chill couch. It had a couch which you would get in. It was like a little monitor, and you would like kind of lean down on it. It's like this is the couch that's meant for you and your partner to come cuddle up and watch some cool things while you're in your space RV. And the bed actually looked like a decent bed. And then they removed the Netflix and chill couch entirely, and it now looks like a Kreischer prison cell. It looks like a prison cell. They murdered him. They murdered my boy so hard.
I think there's some drama coming up here.
So yes, if they did a Mustang Mark II, I would like for them to return to the Bang Stang. All right.
I love that name.
Well, it was like a Winnebago mixed with a muscle car. So we called it the Bang Stang because it was funny.
So like a 1970s shag wagon.
Exactly, it's a shag wagon, but a muscle car. So a Bang Stang.
Oh, I needed that today.
There's actually one other question which I thought was interesting that I saw earlier. We'll ask that one as that one. Stakeroo asked, with other ships being able to resupply and repair, what will happen to the specialty repair ships such as the Vulcan and the Crucible? How will they differentiate from others? Efficiency. A Crucible repairing your ship is going to be a much smaller cost than bringing an Idris in. And it's probably going to be faster because the Crucible, for instance, is automated. The Vulcan is automated. They use drones, so won't require someone to manually print and then attach the bins. You would just have it automatically be attached.
What was the question one more time?
The question was, with other ships
Oh,
being
here.
able to resupply, and repair, what will happen to the specialty repair ships like the Vulcan and Crucible? How would they be
Right,
differentiated
I
from
think,
others?
yeah, as you said, efficiency, but also I think that we'll get, well, in certain ways, I feel like it's gonna, you're of course gonna be able to like repair your own modules and stuff, but then actually repairing your hull or armor, maybe that's gonna be very like ship specific,
Mhm.
where like a Vulcan can repair armor, but normal, like an Idris maybe can't without the drones,
Yeah. It might be able
stuff like
to
that.
repair parts, but it may not be able to replace parts, like replace your
Yeah,
wing on
exactly.
your Hornet or something like that.
Yeah.
So, this is a good one. I'll end off with this one. Faldorn asks, "Talk us about the Soul Singer now that the patent has been denied, failed."
Ooh,
We
there's
have no idea what Soul Singer was. No clue.
Yep.
The only thing that was even hinted was a leak, and it wasn't confirmed. That the idea was to give to use Star Engine to build a new game with Tony Z as the head of that game.
For like a fantasy game or
It was like a
something.
fantasy game. Yeah, it was but that was
Yeah.
the leak.
It was
Um,
so vague. Such a vague league.
almost sounds like an Anne McCaffrey title.
I think the fact that he became the emeritus tells me that he was like, this sounds like a great idea in theory, but he probably looked at how Star Citizen's been developed and like, do I really want to be the lead on a new game in my age? Because he's like in his 60s, his 50s or 60s now. It's like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to jump on this grenade this late in my life? So, because he's, as far as I can tell, he's still getting paid by CIG because he just shows up every so often. When I talked to CIG about it in the past, they said the same thing. He just shows up the office. He just shows up the office infrequently now. So when we need him to come in, we ask him to come in, and he gets paid for it. So
Interesting. Also, quick on the previous question about the repair. Someone in chat mentioned something pretty good. The Crucible, you don't actually have to land like indoors with your ship that needs to be repaired. And with the Vulcan, we also see in the concept art that you can just do it out in Atmo, where the drones just deploy from the Vulcan and repair the ship instead of actually having to land somewhere. So it's also a lot more in the field repairs, which of course in Idris, repairing with an Idris whilst you're trying to stealthily bomb with an Eclipse, and then having the Idris fly in, and then you have to land in the Idris and repair. That's probably a lot less stealthy and takes a lot more time than that Vulcan just stealthily like showing up, quickly repairing with drones or whatever, restocking your torps, and then going for another bombing run or something like that.
yeah. Speaking
Very good point.
of Mustang Mark II, wonder how they'll do the Omega. If they did the Mark II, they'd probably not remake the Omega. They would probably come up with the Upsilon.
Theta or Theta.
Yeah, and they won't have it'll basically be the Omega, but they'll bypass the naming, and it'll be a different design that they do, so that they can get around their deal with AMD.
And then like only half the paint will be red.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for Axis for coming in and joining us. Thank you for Build and Play. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you check out Qantas Starliners and of course Axis 0096 or 0096. Everywhere where you can find content. And if you did enjoy this, also thank you to all the very absolutely insanely generous people who donated way too much money for this. Thank you for coming up, joining us. We'll be back next week. Next week's going to be a very special one. This is going to be a Star Citizen discussion that we don't talk about Star Citizen directly. Next week is a special that myself and Night Cobb have been talking about doing for years. We're going to talk about science fiction movies. And I think the theme is going to be the movies that inspired Star Citizen. So this is going to force me to, for the first time, sit down and actually enjoy Aliens. I have never finished Alien or Aliens. I have watched them and I've just been like, yeah, I don't really like them. And that's been my big, everyone goes, what? When I say that, it's just like, it's just not my style. I don't say it's bad. I just don't I understand why it's good. It's not my style. Yeah, so I'm going to actually sit down and watch that. But I've never seen Last Starfighter. So I'm going to go watch that as well. That's another good influence, stuff like that. So yeah,
I want to watch Predator, Enemy Mine, and a few others.
yeah. Predator films are great. I've watched all but The Predator. I've seen all of them. I haven't seen the latest one, but yeah. Never seen The Last Starfighter. It was before my time. The Last Starfighter came out before I was born. So
Fair enough. Well, thank you
Yeah.
all for the amazing energy today, guys.
yeah, thank you
In
all.
the chat. And
Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. If you did enjoy this,
Pleasure and everything.
join us live, twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/@the-captain's-table podcast. Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you did enjoy this, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, hit the bell icon. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and the other platforms. Leave a rating, comments. It helps out a lot. Thank you for watching. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.
07.